Is this video a gunshot, a camper door shutting hard, or something else? Sounds recorded on security cameras can be very difficult to identify as they can be distorted. A gunshot has a very sharp, cracking sound, while a camper door shutting would have a lower-pitched, heavier slamming sound. What is this in the water? I just moved into these townhouses, and there's this drain rainwater hole that surprisingly has green sunfish. Is this insulation in the water? This is algae. The green, stringy, or fluffy-looking substance in the water is a bloom of filamentous algae. Algae are simple, plant-like organisms that thrive in nutrient-rich water with plenty of sunlight, such as a stormwater retention pond like this one. While it might look a bit like insulation, it is a natural and very common component of a pond ecosystem. The presence of fish indicates the water quality is good enough to support aquatic life. I got this CD from a blind bag. What is it? It's an audio CD. It contains music. You put it in a CD player or a Sony Discman. This is a wonderfully simple and direct answer to a question that highlights a generational shift in technology. For someone who has grown up in the age of streaming music, the physical object of a compact disc, the dominant music format of the 1990s and 2000s, can be a genuine mystery. It is a piece of once ubiquitous, but now largely obsolete technology. What is this die for? A coworker found this at an estate sale in a trinket pile. It has 0 on it twice and HR on one side. This die is used for a baseball-themed dice game. The markings on the faces of the die correspond to different outcomes in a baseball game. HR would stand for home run. Other faces might have markings for a single, a double, a strikeout, or an out. Players would roll the dice to simulate a baseball game, moving imaginary runners around a board or just keeping score on paper. It is a simple, tabletop version of America's pastime. What are these things in my conservatory? There are 3 thin metal poles attached to a circular junction or decoration and a plastic mesh casing of some sort. The metal poles are rigid supports to stabilize the roof and side walls of the conservatory. A conservatory is a large glass structure, and these tension rods or support struts are often an integral part of the design. They provide additional structural support, helping to brace the roof against wind and snow loads and preventing the frame from flexing. The plastic mesh casing is likely just a vent for air circulation, unrelated to the support structure. What is this key for? This is a freezer key. Many chest freezers and some upright freezers come with a lock on the lid or door. This is to keep the freezer securely closed, which is important for energy efficiency and also to prevent children from getting trapped inside. This small, simple key is the one that is used to operate that lock. They are a very common and standardized type of key for this specific appliance. A jawbone was found in the southern tier of New York State while walking in the woods. It doesn't seem to be a bear jaw. What is it from? The commenter thinks this is from a boar or something like that. This is a very good guess. The long shape of the jaw and the presence of what could be large canine teeth or tusks are characteristic of a pig or a wild boar. Wild boars are present in many parts of New York State, and their skulls and jawbones are a common find for hikers and hunters. It is certainly from a suid, a member of the pig family, rather than a bear. Found this in my dishwasher. What is it? This is part of your faucet wand aerator. Many modern kitchen faucets have a pull-out spray wand. The aerator is the small multi-part component at the very tip of this wand. It introduces air into the water stream to create a soft, non-splashing flow. These aerator assemblies can sometimes become loose or be dislodged during cleaning and can fall into the sink, and from there, into the dishwasher. It's a small but important part of your kitchen faucet. There are these bubbles that basically sit on top of my tea. It happens every time I make tea. The tea and milk aren't expired and the cup is clean. What is it? This is oil from the milk. The commenter uses really fatty whole milk and has massive globs of oil that float on top. When you add milk, especially non-homogenized or very high-fat milk, to a hot beverage like tea, the milk fat can separate and float to the surface, forming small oily droplets or a thin film. While it might look a bit gross, it is a completely normal and harmless phenomenon. Bought a second-hand car with this sticker on. My Google search results were not useful. Does anyone know what it means? It's the logo for an Italian clothing brand called Paul & Shark. Paul & Shark is a luxury sportswear brand known for its high-quality nautical-themed apparel, particularly jackets and polo shirts. The shark logo is their signature trademark. The previous owner of the car was likely a fan of the brand and put this sticker on their vehicle to show their brand affinity. I found this in milk. What is it? My brother wanted to drink milk and saw this, so he called me over. I scooped some out, and it looks and feels like whipped cream. That's the cream top. This happens with milk that is non-homogenized or minimally processed. Homogenization is an industrial process that breaks down the fat globules in milk so they stay suspended. In non-homogenized milk, the cream, which is the fatty part of the milk, will naturally separate and rise to the top, forming a thick, rich layer. It is perfectly safe to eat and is considered a delicacy by many. You can either shake the bottle to mix it back in or scoop it off and enjoy it like clotted cream. What is causing the battery on my forklift to do this? The substance is hard and crumbles easily. This is the second time I've had to remove it. This is probably sulfate. The white, crusty substance is corrosion, typically lead sulfate, that forms on the terminals of a lead-acid battery. It is caused by electrolyte, sulfuric acid, leaking or venting from the battery and reacting with the lead terminals. Its presence is often a sign that the battery is being overcharged, is old, or has a small crack in its casing. While it can be cleaned off, its repeated formation suggests you may need a new battery soon. What's on my ceiling? The first picture is from July last year versus today. This is a headache called water damage. The staining, discoloration, and potential bubbling of the paint on your ceiling are clear signs that there is a source of water leaking from above. This could be from a leaky roof, a plumbing leak in the bathroom on the floor above, or a problem with an HVAC unit in the attic. This is a serious issue that needs to be addressed immediately by a roofer or a plumber to find and fix the source of the leak before it causes major structural damage and mold growth. Okay, I am stumped. What is this? There are two different objects stuck together for convenience. They are trim profiles. A carpenter or a finisher would use these as a reference when trying to match existing molding or trim in a house. The yellow profile in your hand is a perfect match for the baseboard in the very room you are in. By taking this profile to a lumberyard or a millwork shop, they can use it to grind a new set of knives to perfectly replicate that specific molding profile. The brown piece is likely for a different trim profile in the house. Found in my uncle's watch repair kit. They are about 8 inches by 1.25 inches. These are parts storage box dividers. A watchmaker's bench would have small multi-compartment boxes or trays for organizing the tiny screws, gears, and other parts of a watch during disassembly and repair. These thin plastic or metal strips are the adjustable dividers that are used to create the small compartments within those storage boxes. They can be slid into small grooves in the box to create custom-sized sections for different parts. Found on my balcony. I'm almost afraid to ask. I found several of these alien pods on my balcony. Please tell me it's not about to hatch facehuggers. No facehuggers here. These are praying mantis eggs, or more accurately, an ootheca. This is the protective, foam-like case that a female praying mantis creates for her eggs. She lays the eggs inside this frothy mass, which then hardens to protect the eggs over the winter. In the spring, dozens of tiny praying mantis nymphs will hatch out. The commenter's advice is excellent. Please leave them. Praying mantises are incredibly beneficial predators that will help to control pest insects in your garden. The tip of my digital pencil turned yellow. It used to be white, but now it's not. What happened? It's normal. The tip of a digital stylus, like an Apple Pencil, is a consumable part that is designed to wear down slowly with use. The material it's made from is slightly porous and soft to provide a good feel on the screen. Over time, the tip can pick up oils from your hands, dust, and microscopic debris from the screen surface. This can cause it to become discolored, turning yellowish or grayish. It is a sign of normal wear and tear, and the tip can be easily unscrewed and replaced with a new one. ID for this little guy? Florida. The music in the background fits perfectly. This is a harlequin bug. They are a species of stink bug known for their bright, distinctive red and black markings, which warn predators that they are distasteful. They are a common pest of cabbage, broccoli, and other plants in the mustard family. The commenter also humorously notes that it is the Asian ladybug version, likely a joke about its bright, patterned appearance. I just got this random thing in the mail, no receipt. It's not a bracelet, literally just this tiny cow, ox, with a string running through it. I'm flummoxed. This is probably a brushing scam. In a brushing scam, an online seller sends an unsolicited, inexpensive item to a random address. They do this to create a fake, verified purchase transaction. They can then use this transaction to post a fake 5-star review for their own product in your name, which artificially boosts their store's ratings and helps them to sell more products. The small charm itself is worthless. Its only purpose is to be the subject of the fraudulent transaction. This semi looks like it's shooting fire out of a tailpipe that is facing straight up. It made a really loud noise as it passed. It's just a purge from the safety valve. The truck is likely a tanker carrying a liquefied gas, like liquid nitrogen or carbon dioxide. These cryogenic liquids are constantly boiling off and building up pressure in the tank. To prevent the tank from overpressurizing and rupturing, a safety valve will periodically open to release a burst of this excess gas. As the cold gas is released and expands, it mixes with moisture in the air and instantly condenses into the visible white mist or cloud that you see. Found cleaning out a friend's parents' house. It is very heavy on the thicker end, and the shaft is flexible, almost whip-like. There's a debate whether it's a billy club. This is an equestrian English-style riding crop. It is a short, flexible whip used by a rider on horseback. The main shaft is for flexibility, and the thicker, weighted end is the handle. The other end would typically have a leather popper or loop. It is used to give light cues to the horse, to encourage it to move forward or as a training aid. It is a very common piece of equestrian equipment for anyone who has ever had or ridden horses. I bought a bird feeder. What are the 2 green cups on the rim for? These could be for water, but more likely, they are for jelly. Some bird feeders are designed to attract a wider variety of birds beyond just seed eaters. Orioles, in particular, are known to love grape jelly. These 2 small cups would be filled with jelly or with orange halves to attract orioles and other fruit-eating birds to the feeder, in addition to the seed that would be in the main part of the feeder. My husband got a gift bag at an event, and this guy was one of the gifts. It's a figure of a boy, and there was this little metal thingy in the box as well. Is it supposed to be some popular character? He is a flyer, and those are airplane wings on his back. He's running down a runway. This is a designer art toy, a collectible figurine from a series called Dream Boy by the Dream Art Studio. The little metal thingy is likely an accessory for the figure. These are not mass-market toys, but are limited edition, collectible art pieces. The commenter notes that this one is sold out, so it could have some value on the secondary market. These are scattered around my park. My dog goes nuts trying to find these. What are they? This is a rabies vaccine bait. This is part of a public health program to control rabies in wildlife populations, like raccoons and foxes. The outer part is a bait made of fish meal that is attractive to these animals. Inside the bait is a small packet containing the oral rabies vaccine. When an animal eats the bait, it ingests the vaccine. Your dog is going nuts for them because of the strong fish meal smell, but they are not harmful to domestic animals if ingested. This is a cocoon-looking thing in my basement. What is it? This is a mantis ootheca, which is the egg case of a praying mantis. A female praying mantis lays her eggs in a frothy foam that she secretes, which then hardens into this tough, styrofoam-like protective case. She often attaches them to twigs, fences, or the eaves of houses. This one has likely been brought into the basement on a piece of firewood or another outdoor item. It contains hundreds of mantis eggs that will hatch in the spring. There's this QR code on my water heater saying, "Do not scan" on it. My phone told me it was a YouTube link. I know the general rule of thumb. Don't scan QR codes you don't know. The commenter's response, "Get a pic of the code so I can scan it," is a humorous but risky suggestion. This is likely a prank. Someone has placed a sticker with a QR code on the water heater and added the "Do not scan" text to pique curiosity. The QR code could link to anything: a funny video, like a Rickroll, a joke website, or, more maliciously, a phishing site or malware. Given the context, it's almost certainly a harmless prank, but the general rule is wise: never scan an unknown QR code. What is this structural detail found on a retaining wall of a new highway? Is it aesthetic or functional? The vertical elements function to dampen sounds. These are not just aesthetic, they are part of a sound-absorbing or sound-diffusing noise barrier. The textured or patterned surface of the retaining wall is designed to break up and absorb sound waves from the traffic on the highway, rather than just reflecting them. This helps to reduce the level of traffic noise that reaches the residential or commercial areas adjacent to the highway. It is a functional element of acoustic engineering. This is a discolored egg. My wife was making breakfast, and we noticed one egg that was discolored. We ended up not eating it. Pale egg yolks are safe to eat. The color of an egg yolk is determined almost entirely by the diet of the hen that laid it. The yellow-orange color comes from pigments called carotenoids, which are found in things like corn, alfalfa, and marigold petals that are often included in chicken feed. A pale yellow yolk simply indicates that the hen's diet was low in these specific pigments, likely a diet based on grains like wheat or white corn. It does not indicate that the egg is spoiled or less nutritious. This is in the new house I bought. To our knowledge, it isn't mold, but should I be concerned? The solution is an auto-moderator comment, indicating the answer was in the comments but is not shown here. Without a picture, it's impossible to say for sure. However, any unusual stain, growth, or substance found in a new house can be a cause for concern. It could be anything from a harmless water stain to efflorescence, salt deposits on masonry, to active mold growth from a hidden leak. The best course of action would be to have a home inspector or a specialist, like a mold remediation expert, take a look to identify it and determine if it's a problem. A mysterious burn appeared on my curtains. Does anyone have any idea how this burn might have happened? The current theory is either light reflected off a makeup mirror or possibly a perfume bottle. Yes, a mirror or a lens did this in the sunlight. This is a classic case of sun damage caused by a focused reflection. If a concave makeup mirror, a glass bottle with a curved surface, or even a crystal paperweight is left on a windowsill, it can act as a lens. When the sun hits it at just the right angle, it can focus the sunlight into a very small, very intense point of light, like a magnifying glass. This focused beam is hot enough to scorch, smolder, and even ignite flammable materials like curtains, which is what happened here. This is a spoon with a different shape. I bought this some years ago together with other spoons. Does this different shape have a specific use? That was our sugar bowl spoon. This is a sugar spoon, also known as a sugar shell. The distinctive, often shell-shaped or specially shaped bowl was designed for scooping granulated sugar from a sugar bowl to be added to tea or coffee. They are a traditional part of a formal silver flatware set. While any small spoon can do the job, the sugar spoon was a specific, elegant piece for that one purpose, a common feature of tableware from a more formal era. What are these well-like things in the Peak District? We came across several of these small, shelter-like holes in the ground. They had grass piled on top of the walls and small metal rings bolted to the inside. This looks like a grouse butt. It is a small, semi-subterranean shelter or blind used by hunters during a driven grouse shoot, a traditional type of bird hunting in the UK. The hunters would stand in these butts, which provide concealment from the grouse that are being driven towards them by a line of beaters. The turf-covered walls help them to blend into the moorland landscape. The metal rings might be for tethering a dog or hanging equipment. The links show several examples of these classic hunting structures. What is this on my house? I live in northern New Jersey and saw this on the outside of my house. It's hanging maybe 15-20 feet up under an awning. This is a dirt dauber or mud dauber nest. Mud daubers are a type of solitary wasp that builds its nest from mud. The female wasp collects mud and forms it into a series of tubes or cells, often under the eaves of houses, on porches, or in sheds. She then provisions each cell with paralyzed spiders, lays an egg, and seals it. The commenter from the deep south confirms these are common. They are generally not aggressive and are considered beneficial as they help to control spider populations. Parked at a hotel in Orlando a couple of years ago. Someone addicted to television or who wants to watch multiple NFL games? What is this car with many antennas? There's a big ham radio convention in Orlando every year called Hamcation. That's a ham with money and time. This vehicle belongs to a very serious amateur radio, ham enthusiast. The vast array of different antennas is for operating on many different radio frequency bands, from HF for worldwide communication to VHF, UHF for local and satellite communication. This mobile setup is a complex and expensive hobby station, allowing the operator to communicate with other hams around the world right from their car. Maybe holding a rifle overhead and a chainsaw in his other hand. What is this? This is a reference to the 1992 cult classic horror comedy film Army of Darkness, starring Bruce Campbell as the hero Ash Williams. In the movie, Ash, who has been transported back to the Middle Ages, famously replaces his severed hand with a chainsaw and wields a shotgun, his boomstick. The silhouette of a figure holding a chainsaw and a rifle is an iconic image of this beloved character. The edit, "Thanks for the award," confirms this was the correct and well-received answer. What's this weird-looking stuff in my lens? I was inspecting my old camcorder to use it, till I saw some weird, hairy-looking stuff in the inner lens, and no, it's not cracked. It looks like mold to me. The commenter has several old cameras and lenses that have a similar look. The inside of a camera lens, with its multiple glass elements and air spaces, can be a surprisingly good environment for fungus to grow, especially if the lens has been stored in a damp or humid environment. The hairy-looking stuff is the mycelial network of the fungus, growing on the surface of the glass elements. This lens fungus can permanently etch the lens coatings and degrade the image quality, and it is very difficult to clean. Does anyone know what this is? I picked it up at a thrift shop with my girlfriend, and we have been in a debate as to what in the world something like this would have been sold for. This is an egg cup. Specifically, it is designed to hold a single, soft-boiled egg. You would place the cooked egg in the cup, and then use a spoon to crack the top of the shell and eat the egg directly from the shell. They are a very common piece of breakfast tableware, especially in Europe. The small size and cup-like shape are perfectly suited for this single, simple purpose. Random extras. I just have this sitting around that I found while cleaning. It looks like extras to something. This is either a Rima or a Park bicycle tire patch kit. It's a small kit for repairing a puncture in a bicycle's inner tube. The black plastic things are tire levers, used to pry the tire off the rim of the wheel. The little square cheese grater thing is a small metal scraper, used to rough up the surface of the inner tube around the puncture, which helps the rubber cement to adhere properly. You are just missing the patches and the tube of rubber cement. I keep seeing this PFP on YouTube. I keep seeing people with this profile pic, and I decided to come here to help identify it. Anyone know where it originated? My searchings say it's just a Galaxy PFP, and people use it because it's super aesthetic. It's not a logo or a brand. This is simply a popular, aesthetically pleasing stock image of a galaxy or a nebula. There is no deeper meaning or origin. Users on platforms like YouTube or TikTok will often adopt a popular, cool-looking image as their profile picture, leading to many people having the same one. It is just a trend, not a symbol for a specific group or fandom. If you love uncovering strange and mysterious objects, hit that like button and subscribe. Stay curious. More finds coming soon.